Good morning. Oh, my heart is so happy. Australia's here. So those of you who love the castles, guess what? They're with us this morning, Nikki, and whomever else is with you this morning. I'm so happy that you're here from Australia. Shane, yes, it is a happy day. Just simple and straightforward. Yes, happy day. And to my Cleveland family friends, you've been with us since I was quite young, and so I'm so happy you're here. Whoever's gathered together, I've got on my blanket, and in Fort Worth, Texas, I'm looking out the windows. It is rainy. It's going to be rainy all day, which means this is the perfect day to read books, snuggle in, Zoom your homework, Zoom your work, because outside isn't calling you to come out, unless it's just to sit on the front porch. So, for those of you who haven't met, I'm Deborah Jung. I happen to get to hang out with this awesome group of people at a company called Kids Who Care. And this story time is specific to what's happening right now. We're all sheltered in, snuggled in, sounds a bit better to me, but sheltered is correct. Just making sure we continue to do everything we can do to help all the people that are in our hospitals and helping our friends who are getting well. And so this is great to start the day off with a bit of zip. And there's nothing like art, beautiful art to look at, and beautiful words that just sort of lift you into your day, or Nikki, lift you into bedtime. It happens both ways, right? All right, so today's story is quite beautiful. Look at this. This is so beautiful. This happens to be about Miss Rumphius, and that's the title of the book. And what I love the most is knowing whose imagination did this come out of. And so I pulled off the book cover because sometimes eventually these you have to pull the jacket off because they get in the way. But I wanted you to see the person that wrote the story and did all of the beautiful art we're going to look at. It's Barbara Cooney. Look at her. Doesn't it tell you a lot? Look at her. If you were going to play this character, which is what I do for a living, is figure out how to play other people or help other people play other people. This is Barbara Cooney, and I'm looking, it looks like she's on a sailboat, and she grew up in Long Island and had 4 kids. I so identify with that because I grew up with 4 kids in the house, and it's quite noisy and quite wonderful. So now you have a picture, you see her, we all see her. So for the next few minutes, I'll put this to the side because here's the book with all the beautiful art as well. All right, so Miss Rumphius, story and pictures by Barbara Cooney. And you know what? Elmo's gonna come, not Elmo, excuse me. Elmo's in the balcony this morning. Kermit is gonna sit right here next to me so I don't accidentally knock him off the chair. That happens, it happens. Miss Rumphius, Stories and Pictures by Barbara Cooney. And for those of you who may have been with me before for a story, it's exceedingly important just to see if there's anything hiding just inside the cover. Ooh, beautiful green. All right, so we have to go a little further to get something. What will be here next? Oh, wow. Oh, this says so much about what's coming, you guys. The name of the book is Miss Rumphius, and we know who the illustrator is, who the person who is the artist who drew the picture, and the words. But I'm going to say to you, I've read this book, and this tells you almost everything you need to know about Miss Rumphius. Sometimes in here is someone's signature, and it's not here, but I'm going to say to you, this is from Muzzy. I need to write that in somewhere. Just to say to anyone who picks up this book, Muzzy, my mom, that was my mom's grandmother name. Muzzy gave me this book. It makes so much sense. If you knew Muzzy, once you hear the book, you'll go, oh, of course, she loved that book. And here you go a little further, so you can look at things like when did they publish it? These things are very important because someday if you create a book or if you draw pictures for a book, You hope somebody looks to see, when did this start to happen? When did it actually get published? There you go, and who did it? Penguin Young Readers published this, right? And look just inside, there's often a message from the author or the illustrator. In this sense, it's both people. And it says, to St. Nicholas, patron saint of children, sailors, and maidens. What a collection. So here it is, St. Nicholas, patron saint of children. You know who St. Nick is. Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, patron saint, in quite a fancy crown. Okay, so we know what Miss Barbara was thinking just before they published. What will be just inside, letting them know who we're dedicating this to. Oh, here we go. We're going to find out who she is. The Lupin lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. The Lupin lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know, she is my great aunt, and she told me so. This is not necessarily her when she's old, is it? Tells you a little bit about her. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice who lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see the wharves and the bristling masts of the tall ships. Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship. This picture, I can't wait for you to feast your eyes on this picture. There she is on the front stoop, and this building has something to do with her grandfather. Look at the name on the building. Do you see the seagull sitting on top of the roof? You have to look carefully at these beautiful children's picture books to see what is the artist revealing. What little things are important. And it's cold, guys. Woo, it's really cold. There's Alice right there. Says carving and painting, that's cool. Oh, look at the very bottom. Says, looks like the abbreviation for William. I bet it's Rumphius. Maybe that's her grandfather's first name. Carving and painting, William Rumphius. Oh, look, there's a hotel right next to it. Eagle Hotel Dining Saloon. Great place to go have a cup of coffee, perhaps. Now, he worked in the shop at the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the prows of ships and carving Indians out of wood to put in front of the cigar stores. So here is her grandfather. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures too of sailing ships and places across the sea. So let's first look at this. Look at that. And what I love is that this is where he lives on the top and works on the bottom. Well, that's a short distance to an office, right? So, Mr. Rumphius could still be working right now while we're all snuggled in. His office was in the same building. And look at these incredible things. Oh, let me read you a little more and then we'll look at what he did. So he painted pictures of sailing ships and places across the sea. And when he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. So he is actually a wood carver and makes wood carvings for the very front of a ship. Do you see some of those that would be on the front of a ship? For those of you who like Pirates of the Caribbean, one of those on the very front of the ship. And then Maybe some of you haven't been to a cigar store, but I have with my husband Dexter, and typically there's some sort of wooden statue out front. Do you see any of those? And look at the painting. So he's carving by day, that's very artistic, and then painting. And look at Alice. He's trusting her to create the sky. I love that. Don't you know this place smells good? Oh, I know it smells good. You can see a painting. Whoa, it's so many things. A painting. You see the painting way up in the corner that has fish? Look at the chandelier. Look at the top of the ceiling. Good heavens. Beautiful art everywhere. And when he was very busy, Alice helped him by putting in the skies. In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places. And when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That's all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather. "But there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she didn't know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was grown up. Ooh, it happens just that fast. But here she is at her grandfather's house, little enough to sit on his lap, and then as you know, you get almost too big for that, right? But this is really important. He says to her, "What? You must make the world more beautiful." And she didn't even have to know what it was, but it was a good thing for him to say. Ooh, this fire looks so snuggly, and the cat in front of the fire. Oh, who's in the next room? Did you see that? I believe that's our grandmother. Look at that. Huh. Pretty soon she was grown up. Then my great Aunt Alice set out to do the 3 things she had told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city far from the sea and the salt air. There she worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting all mixed up and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her about faraway places. People called her Miss Rumphius now. Miss Rumphius, look at this library. Oh my gosh, don't you love the smell of libraries or bookstores? And that many. Look how huge this library is. I love it so much. And being a librarian, what a treat that would be. Getting to make sure the books don't get all messed up, getting back in the shelves so people can find them. It's full, it's packed. Ooh, look at the little girl in the next room over there. See that a little tiny room off to the side? There's people everywhere. I think I would love to be upstairs. Do you see the stairs and being up there at the tippy top? Oh, I love this library. Love, love, love this library. Here's a picture of it from the outside. Very fancy building. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and a sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rumphius. But not quite. Here she is walking. Look at that. I've been in New York when it was that snowy. It's rarely that snowy here in Texas. Maybe one day of snow. But in New York, I've been in New York when it was that way. And right in the middle of Central Park, there's just such a place. And look at it. This nice, warm, like an island in the middle of the snow. How it smells when you go in someone's greenhouse. Love it. You can see her smelling. Look at that. I love that. Look at all the flowers. My friend Lori could tell you, or Billy, my friends who are artists at planting could tell you what all those plants are. I just think they're beautiful. So Miss Rumphius went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked on long beaches, picking up beautiful shells. One day, she met with the Paparaja, king of the fishing village. "You must be tired," he said. "Come into my house and rest." So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Paparaja's wife. The Paparaja himself fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Paparaja gave her a beautiful mother of pearl shell on which he painted a bird of paradise and the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine too," said Miss Rumphius. Oh my heavens, just feast your eyes on this picture. Nikki Castle, there you are in Australia. This is how we feel, right? You're in a very distant place from us, but not so distant. Here we are together, right? A monkey as a pet, whoa. I had a friend who had a monkey as a pet when I was a kid, right here in Euless, Texas. The monkey would sit on his head. Daisy, my dog, does a lot of things, but she doesn't sit on my head. Oh, and look at this. When she's taking a long walk on the beach, I love that she has her parasol. Look at that. A parasol. How lovely. How fancy. It's a good idea to have a parasol when the sun is shining. Oh, it's so great. Children's picture books, you just have to take a while because they're so lovely. My great aunt, Miss Alice Rumphius, climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across the deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping. And everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters. Lotus. What is a loris? That's kind of like a Lorax. Dr. Seuss, wrong book. And finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters, and there, getting off a camel. Okay, so picture that. Getting off a camel, she heard her back. "What a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rumphius. "Well, I have certainly seen far away places. Maybe it's time to find my place by the sea." And it was. And she did. Oh my heavens. Look at this. There she is on the mountaintop, right? I think that's her on the very tippy top. Yeah. Someone climbing behind her. Maybe she passed him up. And look at this. On a camel, beautifully dressed. There you are. I have a picture of my grandmother Fuller and my gramps on a camel. Really? These people from Euless, Texas traveled the world. So she must have fallen. I don't know. It's pretty high up. But, pretty soon, okay, time to stop traveling, time to go home, set up a house by the sea. Oh, wow. Before I even read, we'll come back to look at this. But look at this house. What? Oh, wouldn't you love to go there? I would so love to go there. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She watched it cross the heavens and sparkle on the water. And she saw it set in the glory of the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. "But there is still one more thing I have to do," she said. "I have to do something to make the world more beautiful." But what? The world already is pretty nice. Pretty nice, she thought, looking out over the ocean. Oh my, look across this. The world, she's right, the world indeed is quite beautiful. But remember, her grandfather said, do something to make the world beautiful. So here she is, looking out at how beautiful it is and thinking, you don't have to know yet. It will reveal itself. The next spring, Miss Rumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. Oh, look, guys. There she is, sitting in bed. Sitting in bed. This happens to all kinds of people. It doesn't matter what age you are. She happens to be a little bit older, but it happens to kids too, where for a little while you just need to stay in your bed. I have friends that cook children's, and a lot of those kids are staying inside and some of them in bed, but they're there. They're there for a spell, right? She has her books. She has her cat. She can look out a window. Yeah. She could see her flowers from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. Lupins, said Miss Rumphius with satisfaction. I have always loved lupins the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could have still more flowers next year. She wasn't able to. We do have dreams that are waiting to happen. We do. We have dreams that maybe in the distant future they'll come true, maybe tomorrow. It's good to have dreams. It doesn't mean they won't happen, right? We know that, kids who care. Of all the things we know, dreams are extraordinary, and they're beyond your grasp at some point, but you have to dream them. After the hard winter, spring came. Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. Now she could take walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. I don't believe my eyes, she cried when she got to the top, for there on the other side of the hill was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupins. It was the wind, she said as she knelt in delight. It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped. Then Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. Oh, imagine, there's her house. See it up on the hill? That's where she was sitting for, she doesn't tell us how long, getting well, and then she feels better, and she decides to walk where she hasn't walked for a while, and good heavens, her dream had blossomed even when she couldn't see it and even when she couldn't touch it. We call this the world conspiring for you. That's what I call it, that you dream it and then, it's out there floating and it's already happening. Look at that. And look at these lupins. Do you know lupins can be over a foot tall, the actual flowering part of it? Look how big they are. That's not just a painting. I mean, these lupins are huge. And my friend told me if you clip them off just before they are really blooming, just when they start to bloom, and put them, my friend said, a vase. In Texas, we would say a vase. If you put one of these in a vase, it will bloom slowly right before your eyes. I told my husband, Dexter, we're going to go get some seeds of some lupins. I must have lupins. I hope they grow in Texas. We'll see. My friend Lori will know. Lupins. Oh my gosh, I didn't know about lupins. They're so beautiful. Look at the seagull over on the rock. Looking out. The seagull knew they were there. Imagine her surprise. Isn't that lovely? She's been cooped up in that house reading a good book. You know, you can do things when you're cooped up, but eventually you need to get outside. It's how we feel right now, you know. Imagine walking around the corner and there were all these flowers that bloomed while you were sheltered in. She hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. She sent off to the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupin seeds. That's a lot. 5 bushels. I've seen a bushel basket. I have. It's a lot of seeds. All that summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over the fields and the headlands, sowing lupins. She scattered seeds along the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and back of the church. She tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt her anymore at all. Now, some people called her that crazy old lady. That crazy old lady. Here she is ordering. Yep, in my house, this is Dexter Adolph John III, sitting at his desk ordering the next thing, especially now. Ordering. I plan to have him order some lupin seeds today, and I am not kidding. And she also gets to plant them the way I'm better at planting. My gardener friends are really good at knowing, but tossing them sounds like something I could do. Tossing the seeds. And here she is, and I want you to notice, oh, look how beautiful this is. I could totally go on this walk. Here in Fort Worth, Texas, we have a Trinity Trails walk. And it's not quite as mountainous, but it's quite lovely. Look at that. Look at the kids looking at her, right? Oh, that crazy old lady. But look how happy the crazy old lady is. I don't know. Does she look so old? She has a little gray right here. Seems familiar. A little gray. Old is relative. She doesn't look like she's walking like an old crotchety person. She may be older, but look at her. Ooh, she's having fun. Her cape is whipping in the wind. Oh my goodness. How lovely. Did you notice the house on the island? Or maybe it's an office. I don't know. Look at that house on the island. I want to know who lives there. Right in the middle. Do you see it with a flag? Yep. Who lives there? That's a whole story. How lovely. Ugh. I need some help. Oh, Kermie. Oh, dear. Kermie, sorry. It's wild up here. Here we go. The next spring, there were lupins everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and back of the church. Down the hollows and along the stone walls grew beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the most difficult thing of all. Oh my heavens, this is an entire panorama. Look at this. Here we go. We'll go nice and slow so you can see. Look where all the flowers are. Good heavens, how fun to throw out the seeds and then wait and see the lupins peeking up. She had done what she didn't know how to do when her grandfather told her, make the world beautiful. But look, it takes time. It takes time. You have to dream it. And you have to do some homework. She did have to order the seeds, and then she had to wait, and then she had to throw them out. And then you have to wait till they bloom. Ooh! Oh, I love it so much. Oh, she's on her bicycle. Good heavens to Betsy. Look at that. Do you see her on her bicycle? Yeah. There's a lot of bicycles in Texas, more than normal right now, which I think is pretty cool. We all may be sheltered in, but there's lots of families on bicycles. This looks very normal. This is sort of normal behavior for my Italian friends. They're on their bicycles all of the time, in dresses, just like her. That always amazed me. How do you do that? Oh, I have to make sure I'm not missing a page, yeah? Oh, I was. Look at this. My great Aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there was more and more lupins. Now they call her the Lupin Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted the fields of lupins. When she invites us in, they come slowly. They think she is the oldest woman in the world. Often she tells us stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her, I too will go to faraway places and come home and live by the sea. That's all very well, little Alice, says my aunt. But there is a third thing you must do. What is that, I ask. Oh, you must do something to make the world beautiful. All right, I say. Here they are waiting at the gate, yes. Here they are, right? You see them looking, waiting, and then she invites them in. And then look at this room. How lovely. Yes, she probably is tinier. We do shrink when we get older. Her hair is all white, which I think is the most beautiful silver, right? And there they are. And here's what's cool. Did you notice what this little girl's name is? Alice. I love it when people get other people's names. That's really cool. And she says to the children what her grandfather said to her. Make the world more beautiful. Oh, and that, oh dear, they're having, this looks much like something that we would all love to do at Kids Who Care. Oh my gosh, they're having tea. Or maybe it's coffee. Who knows? Who knows what's in that cup? You know, I have mine here today. Here it is with a little sip of frothy coffee. Delicious. And a silver tray. A silver tray right in the middle with delicious treats. Look at all the things on the mantle from all the faraway places she went. Look at those seashells. I bet one of those is from Bapa Raja. Oh, I bet. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I bet, see the paintings on the wall? I don't know if those are her paintings or her grandfather's. I have things on my wall that belong to other people. And oh, it makes me so happy. Okay, here they all are. All of them. Having tea. This little guy on the big pillow is just having another cookie. And the cats are there. And this looks very familiar to me. She says, there is a third thing you must do, she said to Alice. What is that, I ask. You must do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say. But I do not know yet what that can be. Of course, Alice. Of course you don't know yet, Alice. That's for you to discover. That's for you to discover. Right? And the wonderful thing about going to faraway places is you not only find friends, you find the most extraordinary things that are happening that are different than the place you live. That's what I adore about going to faraway places. Yeah. And becoming a grown-up, and she decided she wanted to be a librarian. My thought is, I am positive that when children are very young, they already know what they're great at. I watched my youngest grandson, Graham, yesterday, boxing. He's like powerful. Boom, I don't know what he will become. All I know is he's exceedingly physically powerful. Something extraordinary will happen with all the children that I know. Here they are collecting flowers. Don't quite know what that will be. Oh, there's a little message on the back and a little bit of handwriting. It says about the book. Oh, this is so important. So for those of you who are painters, like my sister Michelle Nishi, or for those of you who do this for real, you'll love what she says. The illustrations for Miss Rumphius were painted in acrylics and accents of Prisma-colored pencils on gesso, that's chalky, gesso-coated percale fabric mounted on an illustration board. The art was camera separated in painting and printed in 4 colors. The text type is Gaudi, old style. The display type is Gaudi, cursive. Oh, I love so much how the letters are. And then at the very tippy bottom it says, with thanks to Hilda. Who is Hilda? Who is Hilda, really? Little tiny thing. I told you hidden stuff is in the back of books. And if you're a painter, letting other painters know, oh, this is how we did that because it's so beautiful. And then we're back to beautiful green. And then you should always look on the back. Yes, the whole panorama, look, she did on the book cover from one side to the other. Oh, I quite love this book. Thank you, Muzzy, for giving me this book. And really right now, I love it even more than I've ever loved it. It's so stunning. And so I must tell you that when I was looking up lupins to really discover about them, you know what I found out? They're the perfect flower because they represent creativity and imagination. What? I am going to plant them. I'm going to plant some lupins. And as we head out into, our real world is out there waiting for us. I work for Kids Who Care and I need to get going on all the things that we plan to do in July. We're sheltered in for June, no problem, but in July, maybe we'll get to hang out together. We'll see. I'm not worried. We'll see. But for those of you who are with me this morning, thank you so much for coming. And Amy and Olivia, good to see you. I'm going to let you know whose beautiful voice is going to play in just a moment because, my cameraman is knocking on the door, Dexter. And you hear Daisy? Daisy's barking because, we're at home. We're at home. So Daisy is outside barking. Oh, my. Oh, you know who that was? Thank heaven this is real. That, I think, is the waterman. And so here we go. What we are going... Hey, cameraman, come back for a moment and start the music first. So what we're going to do is, and I might go to the other side, we're going to play you a little bit of a song that's from Look Up. I hope. I'm going around to the other side to play it. So Kermie and I are going to go turn on the music now so you can hear Marissa Sykes singing to you as we go out. It is the opening song from Look Up, which we're producing in July. And so, sounds like Daisy has joined us. And so, in July, I wish you could see what I'm seeing. Dexter Adolph Jung III has let in the waterman, let Daisy in, and here we go. He's back with my cue cards, but most important, he's back with the music. This is from Look Up. It is Marissa Sykes. She played the Little Mermaid on stage in Fort Worth, Texas. Or maybe you know her from Look Up. But she's, Daisy. Those of you who love Daisy, Nikki, there's Daisy. I'll see you tomorrow morning, I hope, at 10 a.m. for another children's picture book.
On trails in the sky, plains on which I'd like to